So let's take a look at the operator file again. In the operator file, we can take a look, and we have the operator initials, we have groups and branches. So if we look at the policy file, the policy or system control information, let's take something really simple like company number, pound company. Okay, everything that starts with a pound sign indicates that it's a counter. So counters are handled a little uniquely differently. When we talked yesterday, we talked about resetting system preferences. Normally, when a policy record is loaded for the first time, it gets buffered in a memory array so that when it gets referenced again, the system doesn't have to go to disk and ask for it. The exception to that are parameters or policy records that start with a pound sign. The system never buffers those because it wouldn't make any sense to buffer counters. So here we have a counter. This is the last company account number issued. This is just some information for our doc, what module it is, what category it is, whether or not it's a user control, and then a little documentation. Now, the primary key for a counter is the code and then the user. The user is normally blank. If we sort here by user, we can see that there are some policy records that have usernames in them. So if we take a look at this item here, let's find one. Okay, here's, for example, a policy record, menu add R. So I'll go back and look at the code. So here we have two records for that policy. We have a global record, which indicates that nobody can add to the role E menu. And we have a record specific to my user initials. So what happens is every time the system goes out and looks for a control record, which will be either a policy record or a text data record, and we'll talk about that in the future, the first thing it does is checks, does the user have a user-specific policy? If it does, it uses it. If it doesn't have a user-specific policy, then it goes through the branch information and looks for a policy record that has a branch code in it. If it doesn't find one for that, it loops through all of the groups that the operator is part of and checks if there's a policy record for that group. And you can see the policy records. If we go back to user, okay. And you can see these are groups. A record for a control record for a group is ++ and then the group ID, one character letter. So you can have 26 different groups or 26 different roles. If it's a branch, it's --, and then the branch ID, you can have up to 39 different branches, A through Z, 0 through 9. And in fact, you probably can have another 26 by using a small letter. So the logic is first look if there's a user-specific control record. If not, check for a branch. If not, check for the groups that the user belongs to. If not, then use the global record. And if none of the control records exist, then it uses whatever the system default is. So if we go back to the menu, we see that we have two records here, for allowing adding to the role E. Nobody can do it except me. Then the same thing with the adding to the group menus. If we wanted to, for example, allow Felix. Felix is a guy in our Basel operation in Switzerland. We would then create a menu record, put user ID FH, say yes. And now you see we have globally nobody can do it, but Felix and Frank can do it. If we wanted to say we want to allow only people in the management group to do it, and we have a management group that's, let's say, role M, we would do ++M, and now people in the management group would be allowed to add records. This same logic holds true for policy records and for text data records. A text data record is similar to a policy record, except it can contain a larger amount of data. The info field is only 8 or 10 characters long. In a text data record, you can have up to 32,000 or 64,000 bytes.